Hello everyone, I'm Suveksha from second year PCB. Now we'll be developing an app connecting with Firebase.
When we connect our application with Firebase or some internet connectivity things, we have to access users internet. For that, we need a permission from the user. So we are going to give it in this Android manifest.xml file, which is inside this manifest. So give it as users permission Android permission internet, and then close it.
Now let us develop an application connecting with Firebase. So, for our easy ones, let us take, we are entering two numbers and then we have to display the sum of two numbers using Firebase. So, role of Firebase here is to save the sum as a result in its database, and then we are going to retrieve that data from the Firebase. So basically we need to edit text, so that is nothing but plain text to get data from the user. So let us get two numbers. So two numbers, let us and then we need a text view, that is to display the sum, and then another one is button, so that if we click that the sum is being displayed. Okay, now let us align it. Okay, now as we have aligned it, let us name those IDs. So ID for this first block, let it be num1. Let it be empty so that we can enter some values. And then second text box ID is num2. Let it be empty. And then so buttons ID, let it be add. So let us submit, let us display add as the button name. So text view, we are going to display the result. So let us give this as sum. Let it be empty. So we have created everything. Now let us go to functionalities. So we have used one text view, two edit text, and one button. Let us declare it first. Text view and then edit text. So in edit text we are going to get two numbers. So let it be number 1 and number 2. And then we are going to create a button. So let it be as button 5. So now click Alt Enter, so that those classes are imported. As we have declared it, now we are going to define it. So result equal to find view by id r.id dot. So result would be sum. So next one would be number 1. So number 1 equal to find view by id r.id dot num1. Next one would be number 2. So find view by id r.id dot number 2. And then for button, find view by id r.id dot sum. So this add. Now we have defined it. Before connecting it to Firebase, the first step we have to do is that create an Firebase project. So let us open Chrome and then search for Firebase console. So now log into it using your mail ID. Since I logged in, my two Firebase projects have been displayed here. We are going to use this Firebase console project. So after creating a project, the page we will be seeing a similar page. Now move on to real-time database, where we are going to add data and we'll retrieve from that. So initially the database would be null like this. So first we have to connect or add with this database. For that, move on to Android Studio, click on Tools, Firebase, and then click on real-time database. Get started with real-time database. Now you have to connect this Firebase. So click connect to Firebase. So we have to choose a project. If we choose this project, now click connect so that it will get it is connected to the database. Now again move on to the Android Studio. Now we have to get a green message noted as connected. Second step is to add real-time database to your app. So click this add real-time database. So we are going to accept these changes. The Gradle will be syncing so that all the dependencies are being added to our application. Now after our application and this real-time database has been synced properly, you will get a message showing that dependency set up correctly. So the next step would be copy this code. So we are going to write a message into the database. So for entering some data into database, we use these codes, these 3 lines of code. So just copy that and then paste it here. So we leave this third line since we are going to write it only after we click the button. So let us import all these classes. There is no error. Now inside this get instance, inside double quotes, we are going to give the ID. So ID for our project would be displayed on the top of the database. So this is the ID for the for our project. So just click copy and then paste it here. Okay. So next step would be creating an on-click listener. Now, what we are going to do is enter two numbers, only two, edit text box, and then we are going to add it and then show that result in a text view. Okay, so this should happen only when we click on that button. So we are going to use in set on click listener for the button. So new on click listener. Now we are going to create two integer variables. So let it be n1 for the first number and n2 for the second one. Now we are going to get the text from the edit text. So we use an get text method. So num1 dot get text dot to string. Okay. Now since we get it from an edit text, the object will be in a string variable. It will be of data string data type. We have to convert it into integer. So we use integer dot pass int method for converting it into integer. So we are going to do this similarly for the second integer. Just copy and then so it would be for second integer. Okay, now next step would be we have to add it. So we create another integer variable, add these two numbers, and then we are going to set the sum in the database. That is, we are going to write this into our database. Okay, for that we use this statement, myref dot set value, so that it sets the value in the database. Okay, so instead of this hello world, we are going to set our sum into the database. Okay, this is the first step. And then next step would be, so after doing this, what we are going to do is we are going to read it from our database. For that we use these lines of code. Okay, that should be out of this on click listener. Okay, now let's copy these lines and then paste it here. So we are going to do some changes here so that we are our own use case is going to be applied. Okay, let's import all these classes. So we do not need these log statements. So instead of that, what we are going to do is that we are going to create an integer variable known as answer. So this is to retrieve the sum from the data Firebase. Okay, so we use data snapshot dot get value method. So inside the get value method, since we are getting an integer, we give it as integer dot class. Now we have to display this integer in our edit text view. So we are converting it to a string. For that we have created an string variable answer. So that is equal to, we have to convert this answer into string. So we use string dot value of answer. This would convert the value inside answer. Let it be, if it is 2 plus 3, the answer would be 5. So we will convert it into one string. Now we have to insert it into the text box. So text box views variable name is result. So result dot set text of sum. So set text of answer. So we have used this answer as a variable. So we are going to set this string into that result. So on cancellation, if this doesn't happen, what is the next possibility we have to do? That is this on cancelled block. So what we do is just give a toast message. Toast is nothing but a small pop-up which we see whenever we log in into something. There will be a small message box in the bottom of the page. That is a toast. So we are going to give a toast message. So toast dot make text of main activity dot this. Then we have to display a message. Let the message be data not found. And then the third parameter would be how long it should be displayed. So we need it to be displayed only for a short time. So we gave it as toast dot length short dot show, so that it is visible to us. So let us recap it once again. Here we have created two edit text boxes so that we can enter two numbers. When we click this add button, the sum should be displayed in this text view. For that we have used Firebase as a connecting point. Firebase role in this project is that when we add it, the sum is being inserted in the Firebase. We are retrieving data from that Firebase. So now let us enter two values. There will be 5 and then 10. When we click submit, the result should be 15. So here the result is being displayed. This is how the Firebase works.